All right. Wow. That was almost a rough start today. What's up, everyone? And it is obviously a very delayed episode 5 of Caffeinated Collector. And yeah, almost got it today. Hey, I was actually running around looking for this cable I got. So that's what I was a little delayed for. I was a little delayed because I actually bought a cable so I could plug in my headphones while we're streaming. So, give me a little bit of a break there. I also had to kind of adjust my headset volume or my microphone volume because I think we were going a little too hot. Hey, what's up, Kyle? How's the audio? Is it too loud today? Am I going too hot today? I tried to lower the volume, lower the gain a little bit because I know in my clips the volume has been really really loud, so I've been trying to tweak the volume. So, like I said, progress. It's all work in progress, right? Had to get my coffee too. Said hopefully I got decent enough audio right now. I'm actually gonna do a mic check real quick. Audio good? All right. Not too loud. So I know I've been coming off really, really loud, so I'm trying to readjust that. So yeah, man. Hopefully everything's going good for y'all today because it's been rough here. But yeah, I got a few things we'll talk about today. Um, Before I want to see if I want to make sure I can pull up the some of the topics I want to go over. So we're gonna talk about a couple of things, see where we get along to. Obviously, we're gonna show off. It's Hatsune Miku week, so I had to rock a Miku shirt today. Obviously, I know it's a little too low, can't really see it, but Miku's chilling here on my shirt. Um, so last week, obviously, we did Hatsune Miku week. I did one of my themed weeks. Miku always performs insanely well on the channel. So I kind of had to bring her back for another week. And, it always kind of helps when the channel has been kind of dipping a little bit. So I've been slacking, obviously. I had a video that was supposed to post on Friday, but I got to re-record it. Just I guess dub over it because when I was recording, I actually recorded the audio wrong. So my audio is not right on the video, which is why we didn't get the episode of Prize Figure Face Off on Friday that I was going to post, which was a Hatsune Miku Face Off. So we're going to go with it again this week on Friday just to kind of do a little bit of preemptive page updates. I know people were expecting a video on Friday and I didn't post one because, yeah, I have to cut it and then I have to dub over that with my mic and kind of redub and try to match my wording. So yeah, that's why Friday's video didn't get posted. So it will be this Friday. So like I said, just gonna get into a couple little page updates while people are rolling in this morning. So hopefully everyone's doing good. See everybody on in the chat. So yeah, I've also had a little bit of a problem starting, which is why I was 7 minutes late today. So I'm using Meld Studio and I can't get it to sync with YouTube to just automatically start the stream without me having to start the stream in YouTube Studio, then click start stream in Meld Studio. So I'm still trying to figure out how those mesh together, but it's definitely a lot better to use than OBS, I'll tell you that. Way more user friendly. So I just have to actually sit in front of the computer and put in the effort to learn it. But yeah. So as I said, we're gonna go and we're gonna get into some figures, but I also again want to talk a little bit. We're gonna talk about Scream 7. Like I said, saw it this weekend. I'll give my thoughts on it later. Um, Maybe a little bit of video game stuff. There's definitely some stuff happened. I know Marathon happened over the weekend. I didn't get a chance to play much. Played a little tiny bit of it at a friend's house. I'll give some thoughts on that. And definitely want to touch base on the God of War rumors. So we'll have a little bit of gaming content, kind of dialogue, a little bit of movie content at the end of the stream for topics. And yeah, so I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to lead right into some of the figures. So hopefully I uploaded them all, but we're going to find out, I guess, together. So obviously, as I said, this week was Miku week, and I did drop my plushie in the hallway. I was going to bring a plushie with me, but yeah, I mean, obviously, see, I got tons of Mikus behind me here, so we're in good company. We've got the Vocaloids repping behind me, but yeah, I love Miku. I'm a huge Hatsune Miku fan. I know everyone says I'm too damn old to be a Miku fan, but right there, don't really care. But yeah, I have a pretty decent collection of Miku figures, and so every once in a while, whether it's when I feel like doing a themed week or when it's views have kind of dropped a little bit, I'll go from my default, which is Hatsune Miku week, and all those shorts will skyrocket. All those videos will usually do really well, and it'll kind of boot me back up. So I do have several people who come in here and say, "Where's your Miku stuff?" because they think I'm just a Miku channel. But when you look back here, obviously I'm not. So, but yeah, we did a Miku week, and things went pretty good. I did not post 6 like I wanted to. I only posted 5. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to get right into the figures, try to get them going, and then to get them out and move on to the nerd topics. So started off the week with one that was, I don't want to say an older one. I guess it kind of is an older Miku, but I went with it's called the Ghost Miku. And this is an older Sega SPM figure. Obviously, it's from the Project Diva arcade, and she looks absolutely stunning. This is one of my favorite modules in the game to play as in the arcade game itself or in just the Project Diva games on the PlayStations. So I was really, really excited, and this one, back when it came out, was very, very hard to get. My only gripe with this thing, as a lot of other people have said, is the base on it. And the base is, again, one of my pet peeves with all prize figures in general. And that is that massive base that is the size of my freaking head. Okay? It's annoying. It's obnoxious. It sucks. But I get it because her twin tails stick out so far that's going to cover that much real estate anyways. But we didn't need a base that was the size of my turntable for a prize figure, right? And that's one thing I say about every one of the prize figures that we get is ease up on those annoying black bases because before, earlier on, that's okay. It's okay to deal with that. But bro, now like we gotta do something else with it. They're too aggressively large, and it is something that ruins what is essentially an absolutely incredible prize figure. I mean, you look at her, you look at all the detail on her, the face, the eyes, all the little sparkles in her hair. Everything is there. She looks absolutely adorable. Even the little marking here on her face that's part of the module itself. All of it is spot on. But when you look at that huge freaking base, it just kills all the excitement of that figure. And that's how it is with a lot of prize figures. It is my only gripe about this thing. I absolutely love it. And I know the aftermarket on her is extremely high because she was one of those modules that didn't really get a lot of figures. And it is, again, still to this day, one of my favorite OG modules for Miku. So if you can get your hands on one for a decent price, I would definitely recommend her, especially if you can kind of grit your teeth and bear with the annoying large base. But other than that, you've got an amazing prize figure here. She's pretty decently sized. She's probably about, I want to say, little over 7, maybe 8 inches tall. So she's pretty tall for a prize figure. So definitely recommend her. again, you just got to get past the black base, and you've got an incredible Miku. One that definitely stands out in the collection from just the hair, the way the color of the hair looks, and everything else, to just the actual scope of the figure itself. She definitely stands out in a collection. So that was the first figure of the week. Now, I did put these all in the order that I posted them. And I honestly, off the top of my head, forget the order that I posted them. So I'm going to bring it up and then tell you what it is because I have no idea what's coming next. So for the next statue, I believe it's this button. Yes, it is. Okay. One of my favorite lines, which is the Taito Amp series. This is their Mermaid Miku, and my God, is this one absolutely beautiful. This is what I'm talking about when I say they got to do a little something extra with bases. This thing has a base that's the size of the figure. It fits her footprint perfectly. Nothing huge and fancy. It's just a seashell, right? But it works. It adds so much to that figure. And it just, oh man, it is absolutely gorgeous. All the little details on this thing are just top notch. It's hard to believe that this thing right here is a prize figure that at retail cost about $22. Comparing it to some of the larger like scale Mikus that we get, man, the Amp series are just, they blow my mind with how good these things look. Now, this is, I mean, I call it the Ariel version of Miku, but obviously she doesn't have red hair. If you look here, all the little details going on in Miku are just so damn good. Between the colors, exactly, yeah. It doesn't need to be something crazy. Just like you said, a themed base. That's it. Whether it's something like this with the seashell, or even something that we see in some of the other figures that are just a clear base with a logo or a design on them, anything beats a plain black base. And the base on this, having the mermaid sitting on the seashell, staying on the seashell, perfect. The little, like the mermaid tail style dress looks absolutely gorgeous on her. You know, they didn't do the seashell top like, you know, Little Mermaid does, but all the fabric and everything on it just looks so damn good. The way everything flows, the hair, the way they did all that. It's an absolutely gorgeous Miku. I mean, and you do see there, she's got feet. So she even has feet, and she's got kind of the mermaid tail dress going underneath her. So it's a really, really cool piece. And I know they did a few figures in this line. One was Alice in Wonderland themed. I'm trying to see if I have any of them on the shelves down here or if they're in my other room. I know there's an Alice in Wonderland theme where she's on like a pocket watch base. There's another one I have over here, which was supposed to be, see if I can grab her without dropping her. Don't fall. This is another one. This was supposed to be the 6th figure of the week, so spoiler alert. But this is another one that has a very large bow-looking base. And I don't know if you guys can see this clearly or not, but this is another Miku in the Amp series, and she's absolutely gorgeous. It's one of the anniversary Mikus. And again, she was supposed to be the surprise 6th figure this week, or last week, but I kind of didn't get a chance to post her. So there we go. We showed her there. But the Amp series is so freaking awesome, and they're so high quality. They're absolutely incredible. I cannot sing their praises enough. And this is a damn perfect Miku prize figure right here. As well as the rest of the ones in the Amp series. So freaking good. I cannot highly recommend these enough. If you're looking for a very affordable, very budget friendly, just absolutely incredible looking Miku, definitely look towards the Taito Amp series. You cannot go wrong with any of them, especially if you like the themes kind of things. Like this one's obviously Little Mermaid. We've got Alice. I think there's a Cinderella one, if I'm not mistaken. And then there's a couple other ones. So there's definitely some themes to them, and they're really, really cool. So I definitely recommend them. I absolutely love them. And yeah, that is day number 2. So Day number 3. I'm trying to remember what it is before I actually even switch to it. And you know what? I don't really remember. I know what the last one was, but day 3 is going to be, oh yes, a scale Miku. So I had to throw an expensive fancy one in there. This is going all the way back to 2017 Miku, and this is obviously a Good Smile Racing Miku. Now, this is a bigger girl than the other figures that I showed because obviously she's a scale figure. So, little segue, if you guys don't know the difference, obviously, you have your prize figure line, which are your budget friendly things that come in the crane games, all that kind of stuff, right? Which, as you saw from the previous two, can be pretty freaking amazing looking. This is actually called a scale figure. So this is, you'd see Hatsune Miku 1/7 racing Miku, or 1/8 or 1/10 or 1/4 racing figure, right? Depending on the size of the figure. So that's kind of the biggest difference between prize figures and scale figures, other than the price. Because here, for example, with this, she's probably about 2 inches taller than what the Ghost Miku was that I showed, right? Not a whole lot bigger. Definitely takes up more real estate with the way her hair and everything goes out. So she definitely does. But as you can see here, unlike a prize figure, she doesn't have the annoying gigantic black base. They keep it more down to scale. They keep things kind of tight. And some wizardry they do keeps everything balanced out really, really good, because this thing scared me when I got her. But she has gone almost a decade now. Oh my God, it's that long now. Wow. I've had this thing for almost 10 years now, and she's still held up. So, there's definitely a good quality to them. And obviously it's from Good Smile. It's Good Smile Racing. And, they have a whole line of racing figures, right? And they even have models of the cars and things like that. So this one, we'll get back to the figure itself now, not just the explanation of what it is. This thing is just freaking, oh my God, she's beautiful. I like the little trophy she comes with, and it fooled me because I thought it was really dusty, and I'm sitting there dusting it like crazy with my brush, and nothing's coming off. And then I realized it's got sparkles inside the translucent trophy. So I'm sitting there frantically trying to dust the freaking thing off. There's no dust. It's just sparkly. So, from that to the absolutely gorgeous translucent wings that she's got on, I freaking love it. I think she is so pretty. And the racing uniform itself is no slouch. It's really, really cool. And the Good Smile Racing uniforms or outfits are not for racing, right? They're not made for racing. They're made for posing outside the car. But this one is just so freaking stunning. I mean, I can't say a bad thing about it other than, the fact of how nervous it did make me originally of how she might hold up over time. But again, it's been at least 8 years, I think, that I've had her. Possibly, I think about 8 years. So close to 10 years now that I've had this thing, and she's been standing on that one leg ever since. So it has not bent or leaned or broken. So it definitely props to them for making that leg really, really strong. So absolutely gorgeous. Again, Pete, if you guys, I know these are going to be pretty expensive. The scale Mikus are never cheap, but let's see, this one in particular, she's probably up there. Let's see. Just going to do a quick little search here. Yeah, you're looking at, honestly, surprisingly, depending on where you look, you can get one for between 100 and 150. So that's actually not bad. I was actually expecting her to go for a heck of a lot more, because I think she retailed for about 150, 170. But if you're looking for a really cool Miku, and you want to pay for a premium figure, obviously these Good Smile Racing ones are They are absolutely gorgeous. So, and they even make them in prize figure versions. So if you want the costumes but you don't want to pay the price, check out. I think forget who makes them. I think Banpresto does them. So Bandai Banpresto does them. I think for the prize figures. So if you don't want to shell out a couple $100 for something like this, they do make prize figures that are going to run you about 25, $30. So kind of depends on what your budget is. Me with Mikus personally, I love me some scale Mikus, but they are too rich for my blood most of the time, so I stick kind of to prize figures. But I do have them, maybe a dozen or so scale Mikus, so they're too expensive to keep up with, just like my quarter scale bunnies. But if you want a really cool one and you want to splurge on at least one, I could definitely see having this one in your collection, because from the pose and the wings and just the way everything flows, she's an absolute beauty, and I absolutely adore her. I think she's fantastic. So there we go with that one. Got a little bit of education about the difference between figure classifications, obviously. But, I think that's something, too, that's important for people to realize, is that sometimes you're going to get more bang for your buck with these prize figures, with the way they are now. Because some of these prize figures are so damn impressive that you can get 5, 6, maybe even more prize figures for the price of one scale figure. So you're going to get quantity over quality, I guess. But then when you look at the quality of some of these prize figures, they're not really slouching on a lot of them either. So it definitely depends on what you're kind of theming your collection off of, right? I know some collectors that only collect scale figures. Oh, they'll look at my collection and go, oh God, that's prize figures. Collect what you like. And that's what I tell everybody. Always collect what you like. I've got everything from, $500, $600 sideshows up there that I absolutely adore to, $15 prize figures. I don't care. If it's something I like, I'm going to buy it. And if it's something I have too many of, well, I'm going to sell some of the lower end stuff. And that's kind of how I churn out some of the collection a little bit. But anyways, we're going to go ahead and we're going to get into the next Miku for the week. And that is one that not a lot of people even knew about. And a bunch of people asked me where I got her from. This is the white dress Miku, aka the wedding Miku. Because you know what? It's a freaking wedding dress, guys. It is. Like, I don't know why anyone would say anything different, but it is a wedding dress Miku. And I think she's absolutely adorable. This is, of course, by Sega, part of their older SPM line, not one of the more modern figures. But even with this one, for being an old piece, does do a little bit something different with the base. While it's not a big plain black base, it's a big gigantic white base. At least they put some writing on it. They put in a little tiny bit of effort, right? Not much, but a little bit. Maybe some flowers going around it or something would have added to it. But this is quite, I want to say an older piece. She is probably, God, I'm trying to see if I can find her real quick. She is, I want to say she's about 7 or 8 years old, maybe longer. So yeah, she's about 6 or 7 years old. So she's been around for a while. And I don't know many people who have actually seen this figure before. So either she wasn't popular, or people thought it was a little too slutty looking of a dress. I don't know. But I had a lot of people reach out to me and ask where I got her from. So I was a little surprised. And we got this one, like I said, years and years ago when she first came out. So I think she's really cool. I think it's definitely a different look, something that I love having in my collection. So I love the variety. I love having the different costumes, different poses, things like that. And having a bride Miku is perfect because I have brides of a whole bunch of other figures. I have brides from ReZero. I have brides from the quintuplets. You know, if I see the wedding dresses, I even have the ones from Oshinoku. I've done a prize figure face off with those. So I always say that about my collection as I like to have a little bit of variety. I love to have them in different costumes, different poses, things like that. And if something gets a little too boring for me, I'll get rid of it. I'll take it off the shelf. I'll try to sell it, you know. So this is a really cool one because it's I don't want to say rare, but she's about as rare maybe as the Ghost Miku that I showed at the beginning of the show. Hey, what's going on, JT? How we doing, man? How's it going today? Tonight for you, right? Here it's waifu week this week, you know, it's all Miku. Talking about our wedding Miku right now. I'm just gonna put this Miku down so I don't knock her off my desk. I'm gonna put her right down here. I saw her kind of teetering on my table, and I didn't want to lose her because I don't want to replace her. But yeah, I mean, all in all, I think the wedding Miku here is. I mean, Miku is she's one of the best girls. I mean, you know, shout out to Miku. She's swinging over here on my neck. Um, but again, the wedding one is just really cool. I was trying to see if I had another wedding one on hand that I could grab, but I don't. I know the wedding dress ReZero girls are a little more risque. Their wedding dresses look more like underwear. So it's cool to have this that actually kind of looks like a wedding dress. You know, I'm looking. I know the quintuplets; they're in like full-on wedding dresses too. So this is kind of like a happy medium. It's kind of a little bit of a slutty look. It's a little bit of a wedding look, but it doesn't. You know, it has like a flow to it where it's not. You know, a flat upskirt, freaking butt cheeks hanging out Miku. You know, so it has a little bit more class than some of the other wedding figures do. Let's see. You have any scale or expensive Mikus? I actually just showed that. Here, since you're just here late, we're gonna go back to was it this one? Yes. So this is the one I just showed beforehand. This is one of my scales right here, and I'll bring it back just because you're late. But this is one of my more expensive scales right here. This is one of the Good Smell Racings from 2017. So she's a little bit more expensive, but I also have the anniversary large scale Miku with her big ribbon behind her and stuff like that. I have about 4 or 5 scale Mikus that are over there that still need to get unboxed. So yeah, but she's one of the ones I have unboxed right now. So she's one of the ones we covered this week or last week, and you know, I freaking love her. I think she's so awesome. But now, so we had her, we had Wedding Miku. Now I believe the final Miku for the week. Let's see, that was one, that was two, three, four. Yep, so 5. So the last Miku for the week was one that I found out had a nickname I didn't know about, and that is this one right here. The Alpha Shine Miku, right? From the Mega 39 series. Now, this one, I really love her. Um, well, I'm not saying it's the most expensive Miku. You said, do I have any scale or expensive Mikus? That was a scale expensive Miku. That's what I showed. So, um, but this one here, I learned something new last week about this one, where she's actually been dubbed the PP Miku. Um, yeah. So I got comments and stuff that was what this was called, the potty Miku or the pee-pee Miku, and I was really trying to wrap my head around it, and then I realized, oh, it's because the yellow coming off her hands. I don't know, but hey, I learned something new in the Miku lore this past week. So I call her, she's the Shine Miku. I call her the Paintbrush Miku because she's got paint and stuff kind of flowing off her hands, right? Um, but the internet is going to internet, and yeah, they dubbed her the Pee Pee Miku. Or Pissy Miku, she was called, or Potty Miku, I was told. Piku, yes, that was another one that I was called too. Piku, yes. So, I was today old when I discovered that she had all these crazy nicknames. But all jokes aside, man, I absolutely love this Miku. Again, for a prize figure, bravo, bravo. No annoying giant base, no plain black base. They gave us something attached to the base. Even though it's just some little, like, it looks like spray can marks with the paint coming up off it. You gave us something other than just an annoying plain base. And I can give total props for that. The figure itself, pee-pee, potty, whatever, paint hands, whatever you want to call it, she's freaking gorgeous. It's very dynamic. I love a dynamic figure. I love an action pose. I love that. And this has just got that in spades. The arms are out. She's kind of looking super happy. She's actually got an arch to her back. She's in a full pose. She's in motion. All the clothing are flowing. The hair's flowing. The paint, not the pee, is flowing all from her hands. I absolutely adore this one. And again, sizing her up next to one that is a several $100 scale figure is pretty freaking impressive, considering at retail this thing costs $20. You know, nowadays she might run a little bit more because it's been a couple years, but that's what happens with prize figures. Sometimes they go up, sometimes they drop down through the bottom for prices. So it does depend. But I absolutely adore this Miku. I think she is so freaking cute. From the outfit they put her in with the little shorts and the kind of almost like a sailor shirt with the translucent pieces. The hair is sculpted really well. Her face, I think the only thing I could think of is maybe her face could look a little bit more excited, right? Like I think if they would have done like an open mouth, like smiling, like cheering kind of face, it would have made this just that much better. But I think the entirety of the Piku, thank you, the Piku statue or figure is really, really good. And for the money, man, oh, she is well worth the price of this one. I think she is, again, another one, just like the others that I've shown off this past week. She has a dynamic look to her and a dynamic pose, and that will stand out in any one of your collection spots, right? Freaking great. Like I said, I mean, I have up here and behind me, I have all the Vocaloids together. I've got Miku, Kaito, Rin, Len, Miko, Luca, and I even have one of the classic Mikus and a racing Miku back there on that shelf. So, I mean, if I was to put this one in that shelf, she would be she would stand out among every single one of the ones in this case right here. She would be the one that stands out because she's kind of larger than life. She's in that dynamic pose. She has all the colors, and I think it pops. Whatever shelf I put her on, people are looking at that one because of just the presence it has. And I love when the prize figures especially can go above and beyond and do that. So hats off to them. I think it's fantastic. Whether you call it whether you want to call it the pee-pee Miku, the potty Miku, the paint Miku, whatever you want to call it, the shine Miku is an absolute banger, and I highly recommend her. So that is it for the Miku coverage this week. I feel like we didn't cover it long enough, man. But you know, that's what happens. You kind of just get going and you really like the figures and you start talking about them. But I will give you a peek. Let me see if I can get it real quick. I'm going to give you a peek since we're still on the Miku subject. I'm going to see if I can get it. Let me see. So this week, which was supposed to be, I know I didn't even bring my chair in here. I'm using a rickety chair right now. So prize figure face off for Friday, before I get into the figures, was supposed to be, I'm going to call it Punk versus Cute, Punk versus Kawaii, whatever. We were going to go with the new Miku that I just got, which was the Fluffy Miku, versus the Punk Miku. So this is going to be the prize figure face-off. Get the hell out of my way. No glaring. Okay, there we go. So these two are going to be prize figure face-off. And that is going to happen Friday this week. These are just empty boxes. So they've already been unboxed. The video's already been shot. I just have to dub over the audio. So you guys are going to get the prize figure face-off between these two this Friday instead of Friday last week. So I just have to kind of redub everything and hope for the best. So I'm excited for those two because I had to grab two that were, I try to do ones that are from the same manufacturer. I've had some where we don't do the same manufacturer, but I feel like it's a little bit more fair if it's from kind of the same company, right? But I do sometimes do different companies. So I've done a Miku one where it was two different companies and you got to see the quality differences. So it's very, very cool. But that's what to look forward to on Friday this week. So now, obviously, what I usually do here at the end of the, I thought I was going to sneeze, sorry. What I do at the end of the figures is I go ahead and I give you guys my favorites, right? So we're going to do my favorite high-end figure and my favorite low-end. So my favorite scale, I guess in this case, and my favorite prize figure. So obviously, you know, this week's favorite scale, favorite expensive one is going to go for, I think it was, yes, this one right here, because it was the only expensive one that we highlighted, right? Obviously, the Good Smile 2017 Racing Miku, and I'm going to show it again because it is that freaking pretty. So, again, I do have this one. Maybe I'll do a week where I just do scale Mikus or just very expensive Mikus, right? So I have this one. I have her anniversary big butterfly one. I've got two other Good Smile Racing Mikus over there. And then I've got a couple, I got a really, really big one up there on top of the shelf, which is her giant one sitting on all the big speakers and stuff. So I've got enough to fill an entire week. Maybe we'll do one where I just do higher end Mikus. But if there's any indicator of the interest with this one, maybe going to a higher end week would be kind of in the cards down the line. But this is my one Miku themed week for now. So she was obviously my pick for the week for the high end stuff. And you know, I don't really know. It's a tough one. And I'm looking at him right now. I'm trying to figure out with all of the, she's gorgeous as hell. Yeah, dude. And yeah, she's really, really gorgeous. She's a banger. Yeah, compared to all the other Good Smile Racing Mikus I have, she is the one that stands out. But it's a tough one for me right now for the other ones that I posted. But you know, as much as I love Piku, and as much as I really like the Wedding Miku, I think I gotta go ahead and give it to the Ghost Miku. As much as I hate that black base on the thing, I love everything else about this figure. So I think my pick for the lower end stuff, the prize figure stuff, is gonna be Ghost Miku. Cheers to her. I will take a sip to that one. I just think everything about it is gorgeous. Oh yeah, I have a couple of tan Mikus. And they usually get flagged on YouTube and TikTok as adult content, so that's why I don't post them much. I have two Bikini Mikus that are tan skin. Yeah, they're very tan. I've highlighted them on the channel before. They usually get flagged as adult content on YouTube and TikTok, so I don't post them as often anymore. YouTube usually takes down the flagging, but TikTok is very anal about it, so they don't. But I do. I have a couple of tan Mikus. They're very, 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 very cool looking. But yeah, this one right here, man, the Ghost Miku, again, it, as someone who's been playing Miku games for a long time, I used to import them from Japan. This module is one of the OG goats to me. I loved it. And being an older prize figure, this thing still to this day just kills it. Doing the different colors and the different tones to her hair, the fact that it is all translucent PVC, which I love. The eyes right there that you're looking at right now, fantastically done. Again, the little mark on her face, all of it is so good. Even just the simple pose that she's in all just works, and it all comes together in this absolutely gorgeous, very budget friendly figure. Again, the twin tails still holding up after over 7 years plus. This thing is an absolute killer. I think they're planning on reprinting this one. If I recall correctly, I think she's getting a re-release or uh another version, I guess maybe you could say. But I think she's getting a re-release soon. And I think the Wedding Miku actually might be as well. So maybe they're starting to bring back some of the older modules that haven't been around in a while. I don't know. You know, sometimes they do that, but highly, highly recommend this one. If you can ignore the base on it, it is one of my favorite Miku prize figures just because I'm partial to that module from playing the games for so long. Like, I love this module. Love it, love it, love it. She's got to be my pick for the week. So that was my Miku choices for Miku week. And let me know what you guys liked. Obviously, if you guys are watching the VOD after the fact, let me know what your favorites were. But everyone in the chat, like, let me know, like, what did you guys think? What ones did you guys kind of like the most? And I'll even kind of go through them right now real quick. So again, we had Ghost Miku. We had nothing there. That was a blank. We had the Mermaid Miku, which was a really, really close one for me because the Taito amp are so damn pretty. But she was a beauty. We had, of course, the Scale, which was the Good Smile Racing Miku. Then we had the Wedding Miku, the White Dress Miku. And then, of course, we had the Shine Miku, aka Piku, aka the PP Miku, aka whatever the hell else the internet's calling her. So we had some real beauties here. And I tried to do some ones that were ones I haven't really shown in a while. The chat doesn't show up any of the links, so I don't see any links that you posted in chat. I think YouTube actually takes them off. I've had that happen already in earlier streams. So yeah, the chat, it doesn't let you put links in the chat. If you just like put in what the name of it is, I can probably just search it up real quick. But yeah, they don't let you, the moderation tools don't let you post links in the chat because of, spam and porn and everything else. So yeah, it doesn't let you. That's probably why I don't see that you're posting a link. Oh, I gotta chug some coffee before it gets cold. Let's see. So it's an E stream, 1/4. Let's see. Let's see. I'll take a look real quick. Let's take a look real quick. Let's see. So E stream quarter scale 0x27. Let's see. I'll do a quick look for it. Let's see. I'll look it up. There's quite a few different ones for E stream. She's wearing her classic costume, right? Let's see. I will pull it up real quick. Let's see if I can pull it up. Is it this one right here? Is this the one you're talking about? Let's see if this actually just shared up here or not. She's really pretty if this is the one you're talking about. But yeah, that's an E-Stream Miku, I believe. So yeah, that's a really, really pretty one. Is that the one you're talking about, JT? Yeah, she's beautiful. I don't have a lot of E-Stream figures because they're very, very expensive. I mean, you can actually see right here the size difference between just a Nendoroid and this one. So yeah, she's huge. She's about as big as a bunny girl. Yeah, she's a quarter scale. So yeah, she's gorgeous. Um, Not as expensive as I would have thought, but no, good call, good call. She's beautiful. Um, my only E stream I have is a Rem from ReZero that I unboxed way early into my channel, which is the Crystal Rem in demon form. So Eastream does put some amazing figures out. And as far as quarter scale stuff, I mean, obviously, besides the stuff I have up here, all the sideshow stuff, I mean, I've got all my quarter scale bunnies on the other wall, which I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 because one's still in a box over there. So I have a dozen quarter scale bunny girls, and those are all by freeing, obviously. So I still have to unbox Power, who I've been sitting on for a while. So, but that's the problem with scales is they're so expensive that it is tough. But did you have a favorite that I showed off this week, or did you not like any of the ones that I highlighted this week? Someone always posted that shows in the chat, like chat something. As soon as I'm gonna take a sip, the ghost one was rad. Yeah, dude, I love the ghost one. Will I buy that one? Probably not. If I'm gonna do it, I'd have to wait until I unbox my other scale Mikus first. So I have the Miku 39 Lamb Rock Miku, the one where she's holding the guitar. I have another scale Miku underneath that. I gotta see which one it is. I don't actually know. So yeah, I have a couple scales I still have to unbox. So I don't want to buy any more scales until I kind of unbox the ones I have. And like I said, I have a power quarter scale bunny girl I have to unbox still. So I do have a lot of scales I have to unbox, and I have to kind of now have to be a little careful as to how much I unbox and what I unbox because pretty soon I'm going to be having a room in my house torn apart. So everything in that room is going to have to come out of that room. So I'm kind of trying to build some new shelves right now in the house just so I have space to relocate everything to. I literally have my dining room is filled with shelves right now as well. So I'm building a couple more over there so I can transfer things. But I have to be a little careful with what I unbox. Like unboxing, some of the larger scale stuff is going to be a little bit of a pain because I might have to move some of it depending on what room I'm in. But I don't really want to buy any more scales until I start getting through the ones I kind of already have to unbox because I have if I go into my shelves, I have years worth of statues and figures that I have to unbox. I still have two sideshow statues right over here in this room that have to get unboxed. And I'm terrified of unboxing them at this point because I got them over a year ago. So if anything is broken, I'm screwed. So it sucks when you start building up things and you aren't unboxing them fast enough. But yeah, that's it for that. So that's it for all the Miku coverage, all the Miku goodness. And yeah, I gave my picks for the week. Obviously, I got a couple picks from others here in the chat. Now, as far as before we get into the topics, the nerd topics, come on, Miku's nerdy enough, right? But before I get into any of those topics, any of the other topics I want to talk about, quick page updates. I know I covered a little bit at the beginning of the stream, but like I said, last week's prize figure face off screwed up recording, so that will be this Friday. Of course, it's going to be Miku versus Miku. Wednesday, I hope I can get it done for Wednesday. I have the Ichiban Kuji, Denji, and Beam giant freaking figure of them. So I have that, and that's going to hopefully go live on Wednesday this week. So I'm going to go back to getting at least 2 videos per week. So we're going to hopefully get that kind of back on track, see what happens with my house and the demo and reconstruction. But that's something to worry about later. So, as far as the rest of the week, we're going to be doing more game streams. I don't really know what I'm going to stream. I did not get Resident Evil 9. I had people ask me that. I did not get Resident Evil 9. I'm not a Leon Kennedy fan, so it's not something I'm desperate for. I didn't really care for 8. I thought it was way too action oriented. So 9's going to be one I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait for it later until it's on sale or something. So I will not be streaming Resident Evil 9. Sorry. But we got really close to the platinum in Dead or Alive Scarlet. So the last trip I got to get is a boring one to just partner up with a girl a couple times. So very, very boring platinum trophy. Probably not going to do that one on stream. So I don't know what I'm going to stream. Tomorrow I might do some more Zenless Zone Zero. I know we have one of the other Angels of Delusion. Wow, that tongue twisted me. Yeah, another one of the Angels of Delusions coming tomorrow, I believe, to ZZZ. So maybe we'll do trying to pull for Aria. So we'll see. But if you guys have suggestions for games for me to stream, like I said, I'm always asking. I'm always wanting you guys to do it. My poll that I ran was literally a dead heat for Code Vein 2 or Final Fantasy 12, The Zodiac Age, which is one of my favorite Final Fantasies. So, I don't know, maybe we'll do one of those on stream. But I'm still looking for ideas, and I am going to get Crimson Desert unless early reviews come out and say it's absolutely horrible. But I am really hyped for that game. So before I get into those topics, we'll talk about that because I'm pretty excited for that game. It could either go to be one of the greatest games of the year, or it could go right down the toilet. I'm not sure where it's gonna go right now, but the game almost looks too good to be true. So I'm both excited and terrified for it. So unless I hear some early reviews saying it's going to be bad or it's a hot pile of garbage, I'll probably be getting that and maybe we'll stream that. So I don't know, but that's in 16 days, I think, right? Something like that. Does he really drive a Porsche in the game? See, I don't know. I didn't do anything. I didn't spoil anything for the game for myself. I know people have been spoiling it like crazy, but I've literally just blocked Resident Evil 9 out of my like for you histories and stuff like that. Because I don't have any interest. Like I said, I was interested at first, and I've said this in the past couple of these streams, but I was very interested in it at first. Skeptical but interested when I saw the new character, and I was like, okay, she's like this timid, kind of scared, maybe a little autistic kind of girl, anxiety ridden, and having anxiety could be a cool little feature for the game. I was kind of drawing all these conclusions to it, and then we saw the Leon stuff. I was like, oh god, we're bringing Leon back, and I lost interest. And again, I'm in the minority. I'm not a Leon Kennedy fan. I'm not. So if you guys watch my Resident Evil streams, I'm not a Leon fan. I think he is the agent who has actually lost more people than anything else. The same person several times throughout the course of the game. But he's not a very good babysitter. But just my take. Not throwing any shade. I've heard it's phenomenal. I heard it's a really good Resident Evil game. So it's one I'll get. I will get it eventually. Just like I did with 8. I got 8 eventually. And I wasn't super impressed with 8. I didn't like it. Going from 7 to 8 was a huge downgrade to me. I loved the creepiness and the just kind of disgustingness of 7, and just it made your skin crawl, that game. And 8 was just another, okay, well, let's just go. I felt like it was Van Helsing, the game. Van Helsing, the FPS. It was just boom, 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 shoot everything, shoot, 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 shoot. Okay, cool. Like, the only creepy part of that game was the babies. That was the only creepy part. But it was fun. It just wasn't as fun as I wanted it to be. It wasn't what I wanted it to be. I love the classic Resident Evil games, and then from there it goes like Resident Evil 1, Resident Evil 2, Resident Evil 7 for me. And then, the rest I could kind of go without, and I would rather play Dead Space or Evil Within or God, what's the other one? I'm brain farting. Evil Within, there was Dead Space, and there was another one that was really, really twisted. But those were really fun games, and they were creepy, even though they still had the gunplay. So, I don't know. That's just my hot take on Resident Evil. But we will play Resident Evil 9 eventually. Just, again, not till it's probably a complete edition, a Game of the Year edition, a gold edition, what have you, or a $20 edition, because after 8, I'm not going to fall into that trap again. But if any of you guys played it, has anyone played it yet? I'm kind of curious if anyone's played it, what you guys have, thought so far. You can get the car from it in real life? Nope, you didn't play it? All right. Yeah, I don't know, man. I just don't know what to stream, honestly. I mean, I have a ton of games, but maybe we'll go and we'll do Final Fantasy 12. Seem to be popular, but I love that game. It's just, I tell people, fair warning, that game does not have all the dialogue voiced, so it's a lot of reading. So there'll be a lot of silence and reading, and and letting everyone else read. So I don't know if that's going to make for as fun of a stream, but yeah. Now I got to see if I have the articles pulled up here. Let me just make sure I do. All right. So yeah, one of the things I want to talk about before I do any more gaming talk. I play it on YouTube, then I'll play it when the Steam sale goes on. Hey, that seems to be, I'll mention, I'll talk about that before I get into movie talk. But that is something I noticed, because you're younger. You're a younger guy. That is something I've noticed with a lot of younger, I'll say younger guys, because I mean younger girl gamers, it's a different animal. But a lot of the younger guys, like the ones that work for me and stuff like that at my job, I hear that a lot. I hear that exact statement a lot. I'll watch the game on YouTube, and then I'll buy it when it goes on a Steam sale. I hear that exact statement a lot from dudes, especially at my work. So that's definitely a thing now. Like, I noticed that a lot more people will watch the game be played and then go, yeah, I'll buy it when it's $15 on Steam. So I have noticed that 100%. That seems to be like I don't want to say a younger generation thing, but like with me, I see a game and I'm like, oh my God, I gotta get it. And so I gotta get it right then and there. All right, yeah, so you're 30. See, I always thought you were younger. For some reason, I thought you were younger, man. My bad. Well, all right. Hey, you know what? Take it as a compliment, I guess. But yeah, see, I'm thinking like dudes like in their early mid-20s. So I mean, you're not too far from that. You're not 30 yet. So I hear that a lot from the guys at work, like that are guys that are like in their 20s, But a lot of them do that. A lot of them say that, and it's something that a lot of people do. I see it a lot. So, that's what everyone was talking about at work the other night, or last night actually. I got two guys that are like mid-20s, and they were both, well, one of them's like 19 and the other kid's like mid-20s, and they're like, yeah, I'm just gonna watch it on YouTube and then I'll just get it later. So no, I hear that a lot. So maybe it's not the super young generation then. I mean, hey, you're almost 30, so hey, maybe it's just the mentality now in gamers. Maybe that's what it is. It's either the I gotta get it and I gotta have it right now, or it's yeah, I'll just watch it. I'll watch someone stream it and I'll decide if I want to get it later. You know. So no, that's cool. That's cool. But hey, man, like I said, I maybe I just got you mixed up with a different person's age. I don't know. I always thought for some reason you were younger, but my bad, dude. I can't. It's hard to keep track of everybody. But um, aside from that little segue, I do want to talk a little bit about movies because I went and saw a movie this weekend. Let's see. I do both. I get it. Watch a better player, find all the things I missed. Dude, yeah, that's sometimes I cry myself to sleep at night sometimes watching some of these guys streaming games and I'm like, yo, how are they so good? I feel like I suck. Like, but then you see dudes like what's his name? Grandpa Gamer, is that what his name is? You ever see him online? He's an old guy and he like does Call of Duty and stuff and he's like sniping from like hundreds of yards away. He used to be a military sniper. Like watching that dude, like it blows my mind. I'm like, see that? See that? We don't deteriorate up here, man. That mentality, that gamer motion, those motions and muscle memory is always gonna be there, Like I look at that guy and I'm like, all right, I don't think as I get older I'm gonna lose it, right? But that dude's super entertaining, man. How he can just do that. It's just like he locks in, man. Yeah, Battlefield Sniper. Yeah, that's what he is. For some reason I thought he was like Grandpa Gamer or something. Maybe I'm mixing it up with Grandma Gamer because there is someone named Grandma Gamer. But yeah, dude, it's wild. It's wild. That's what I always say to people. Like people will tell me like you're too old. Like I'm gonna be 45 in a couple weeks. They were like, you're too old to play video games. You're too old for anime and all this stuff. Man, get out of here. And there's people in their 80s playing video games right now. We ain't too old for it. So that's how he keeps his veteran interest. Yo, seriously, like that dude ain't playing video games. That dude's having Vietnam flashbacks. Like he's going all in. Like, he's there. So no, I love it. I love watching that guy. He's great. There's another guy that actually makes me want to play Arc Raiders. And what is his name? Oh God. He's he's like a Vietnamese streamer and the guy is hilarious. I'm trying to find his name. He streams Arc Raiders a lot and I watch his stuff way more than I should. Like way more than I should. He oh man, he cracks me up. And he's always posting for like all these clipping channels and things like that do clips for you, but I'm trying to get his username right now. And I can't find it. I'll probably find it later on, but dude cracks me the hell up, man. He wears like a freaking like the little straw hat while he's streaming. Oh my god. I die laughing when I watch him. I'll see if I can find him. Oh, right here. Here it is. His name's Pandas Kills 3 is his name on Instagram. And man, that dude cracks me the hell up. He is so freaking funny. I wonder if I can pull up one of his videos right now before I get into this. I want to see if I can because he is so freaking funny. Dude cracks me up. He does like trolling on people on I can't see he has too many words that he uses that are gonna that are gonna get me flagged probably, so I can't show him. But yeah, if you check him out, his name is it's Pandas Kills or Panda Skills 7. Dude is hilarious. Like you'll go down a rabbit hole watching the dude. He cracks me up. But speaking of things that didn't crack me up, Did I just say that? Wow. Okay, my brain just glitched out for a minute. Speaking of something that didn't crack me up, I went to the movies again. Like I was going to say before I went on this segue, went to the movies over the weekend. Not something I do a whole lot, but yeah, the kiddo and I went to see Scream 7, and I was a little terrified with how it was going to be after all the nonsense that went on from 6 and things like that. So I was a little nervous seeing it, but it was, I'm going to say, I won't spoil anything, but I got to say I was pleasantly surprised with the movie. And like I said, I'm going to go as spoiler free as possible. So if you guys, obviously from trailers, you know that Neve Campbell came back, the original Scream girl, who's literally survived every Scream movie that she was in, as well as, Courtney Cox returning to continue to be Gale Weathers, which she interviewed and said, I will play her anytime they ask me to, I will play her. So that's pretty cool that she loves this character. But I gotta say, the kiddo and I were both pleasantly surprised by Scream 7. And I want to see if I can bring it up here, right here. Okay. So I'm going to share this real quick. We're going to go with this. So I'll go to this. It's Deadline. So there's going to be a bunch of pop-ups and crap. I know I don't have my ad block up, I don't think, but right here, pretty cool. And it got some meh reviews, right? It didn't get very good critic reviews, but right here, Scream 7 roars to record decibels with franchise best 97 million plus global debut, right? So this thing made, I think now they're saying it was over $100 million over the weekend. That's pretty damn impressive for a movie that had, what was its budget? Does it say here? I'm trying to see if it says what its budget was. I know its budget was less than that. It was, I think they said $50 million. So pretty impressive for a horror movie. Again, now this was from Sunday morning. So this isn't even after Sunday evening's box office. So right now at 97.2 million worldwide, by the end of Sunday, that's probably more than that. So this isn't up to date. But obviously, as you can see here, Neve Campbell came back. And yes, Matthew Lillard is in the movie. That's not anything a surprise. He did come right out and say he was in it. So that's not spoiling anything. But Matthew Lillard, yeah, he does come back. He is in the movie. I'm not going to say anything about what it is. I'm not going to spoil it. But right here, it says, pretty interesting because, again, it's got pretty crappy scores from the professionals, right? So the success of Scream 7 is a confluence of both nostalgic fans and new generation embracing the franchise. 77% of the audience was between 18 and 44. I mean, that's a big gap, 18 to 44, right? So this is cool because it was the 30th anniversary of Ghostface, right? So that's pretty freaking cool. And then it does go here, the backlash from getting rid of Melissa Barrera. And that was one of the things that I was going to talk about too a little bit. But it is pretty interesting. So we had a record-breaking box office with a $45 million production budget. So we've already pretty much reached profit territory at this point, right? For Scream 7. So that is pretty impressive. That, again, horror movies are usually very, very cheap to make, right? Whereas this one was a little bit more, probably because you had to get Neve Campbell to come back. You had to get Courtney Cox to come back. You coaxed Matthew Lillard to come back, So they probably had, to grease a couple of wheels, But pretty impressive for a series that's been going for 30 years, right? I think I'm impressed by it. He always comes back. Dude, well, Ghostface always comes back, but it's always somebody different, right? Or somebody's, right, different, as in it was in the other movies. But one of the interesting things I thought about this was, and I'm trying to see if I can have any more articles that we can talk about it with, was I was impressed personally from what they did with Scream 7 for the story, because they kind of had to pivot last minute after, it said in this article that I just pulled up, where they parted ways with Melissa Barrera. And then because of that, um, Jenna Ortega left as well. So the last Scream movies kind of started building up a new protagonist, right? And I won't spoil anything about it in case some people have been living under a rock and haven't seen the previous Scream movies. But they set up a new duo of protagonists who had ties to the original Scream movies. And I thought that was really cool, and it could have been something interesting. Now, I don't know if anyone in the chat has seen the previous ones and know what I'm talking about. But to me, it was pretty fascinating where they were going. But with 6, I was a little, I don't want to say disappointed, but 6 had some very jarring, out of character things for Ghostface, right? In particular, they had a scene where he was going just in the middle of New York, just in broad daylight. Let me see if I can find it. I don't know if I can play the scene and not get hit for it, but I might try to bring it up. But they had a scene where you've never seen any of them? Dude, they're so much fun. Oh my God. You should watch them. They are so much fun. They're so good. They're so tropey. They're so good. I freaking love them. But the thing about 6 that kind of threw me off, let me see. I'm going to actually mute this right now. But see if I can bring this up. I want to just bring up this part because it's kind of crazy. I'll let the ads run real quick before I bring it up. But one of the things that kind of threw me off that I didn't really care for about Scream 6 was a scene, trying to find it, right? And it's a bodega scene. So I think here it is right here. I'm going to play it muted, okay? Because I don't want to get, hit, right? But, I mean, let's see. We'll go here, and we'll see. If you see here, they're running into a bodega, right? The sisters. And they're cutting in line, and Ghostface just rolls up into this bodega, picks a fight with a dude, right? And he just starts yeeting the guy right there in front of everybody. Stabbing people. He's going full, John Wick on everybody. So this was one of the things that really threw me off in Scream 6, was where we got to a point where now Ghostface was just going, and he was just murking people. Boom. Takes this guy's gun, stabs him, rolling around in a bodega with a freaking shotgun, just murking people in a bodega. Right? To me, that was super jarring, right? And that was the one thing I really didn't like about the new iteration of Ghostface. And happily enough, Scream 7 remedies that. Okay? It's back to Ghostface being the kind of slow, not slow moving, but the stalking, got the blade out, methodical, kind of, when is he going to pop up? Where is he going to pop up? Is he behind that door? Kind of killer again. And I like that they went back to that. That scene threw me so far out in Scream 6 that it almost made me not like it. But you know, it just kind of, I don't know, like it just threw me off. But the way they were going with tying the new characters to the old characters, I liked. Um, it was a little weird. I'd like to know who Randy. If you know the movies, Randy, was obviously your nerdy, the nerdy white kid, the horror movie buff, right? And in the newer movies, he's got a niece and nephew who are twins, and they're definitely not white. I don't know if they're mixed race or what, but they're definitely black kids. I don't want to like assume, but I'm gonna guess because they're Randy's relatives, whether they're blood relatives or not. I'm gonna guess they're part white. But he has these twins now that have kind of taken his spot as they're like the horror nerds, right? They're back again in this one, and they're not as annoying. I'm gonna say it. In the last movie, they were very kind of like man, they were like full of themselves. They were very pretentious. Like I know everything. Like you can't know more. And I just was like, man, when is Ghostface gonna get one of them? Okay, but they're back, and they've toned them down a little bit. They still are. We know everything. We've done this before, but now they actually have the we've messed with Ghostface experience before to back it up. So, um, it's definitely a different move. So they had to shift back to the old cast again and kind of circle around because of what happened with the previous two girls we just saw in that clip, which was Jenna Ortega and Melissa Barrera, I believe it is. Yeah. So they were supposed to be the new duo of heroines, right? And it was pretty interesting what they were going to do with them, tying them again to the first movie. And because of some comments that Melissa made on social media, I don't know if it was anti-Jewish stuff or anti-Semitic stuff. It was something, I don't know what, right? Because I kind of zone out of that stuff. When they start talking overly political and all that stuff, I just kind of zone it out. But she made some comments on Twitter or Instagram or something, and the studio wasn't very happy. She wanted to apologize for it, and the studio just said, well, guess what? You're fired. And they got rid of her. Or they parted ways with her. And in solidarity, Jenna Ortega left too. So now you have two main protagonists that you set up in your Scream movies. They're both gone. So what are you going to do? And, I got to give them credit for what they put together with Scream 7. I think they did a great job for the quick turnaround time they did it in to get it out for the 30th anniversary. Because you had a plan, you had these characters going for the next movie, and then it kind of fell through. So props to them for putting together an actual cohesive story. It actually did work. I wasn't as excited. The only thing I didn't like about this one was the Ghostface reveal. I won't spoil it, but I didn't like the Ghostface reveal. It wasn't. I can't say it wasn't what I wanted it to be, and I don't think it was what anyone wanted it to be, but it was very lackluster compared to any of the other Scream movies. So that was my big gripe, was the actual killer reveal. The mysteries behind it, all the little Easter eggs behind it were all very entertaining. The kills were really freaking good. We had some insanely brutal kills to, some pretty interesting multi kills. So I liked it. I thought it was great, and the kiddo loved it. So she is hooked on the Scream movies. We went down a whole rabbit hole of 90s, early 2000s horror together. From Scream, I know you did last summer, to, Stay Alive, freaking, oh my God, what's the other one called there? The Faculty. Like, we went through a whole rabbit hole of those together, and Scream, she loves it. She's met Matthew Lillard and Skeet Ulrich before. Like, she is a huge Scream fanatic, and it was great seeing it, and it was great that it was actually it was a good movie. I mean, it's probably my third favorite Scream movie. So I'm gonna give it that. Out of all seven, it's probably my third favorite. So it's definitely in my top three, maybe down to four. Urban Legend is one we have not watched together yet. I have to watch that one with her. That was a good one. Final Destination, we went through all of those together. Yep. So now wait, you're naming all those and you haven't watched Scream yet? Man, what the hell's wrong with you? That's your homework, man. Next week, I want you in here. I want you saying you saw at least Scream 1. Don't name Urban Legend and Final Destination and tell me you haven't watched any Scream movies. Man, that's homework. Next time you're on, man, next Monday, you tell me you watched Scream 1. That movie is great. So I'm gonna give Scream 7. I want to give it a 7, but because I didn't really like the killer reveal, maybe I'll put it down to a 6. It was definitely above average. And it was a Scream movie through and through. It was very, very good. I liked it. I had a fun time with it. So I would recommend watching it to people. That's just my opinion, but I'm someone who loves the Scream movies. So that was movie talk for today. I know it's not something we talk too much about on the channel. I mean, I know we're only 5 episodes in, but I know I don't really talk too much about movies. I don't go to the movies very often. I think besides Scream, I think the last thing I've seen was K-pop Demon Hunters 4 times in the theaters. So, which, gonna go a little nerd for a minute here. It's coming to Blu-ray. It's being put into the Criterion Collection, and I'm so excited. I know I'm such a freaking nerd for K-pop Demon Hunters. I don't care. I am not ashamed of it. I loved the movie. I want more of the world. I want more of the franchise. I want it. And the music is freaking earworms that just they get in and they don't get out. So I love it. I think it's great, and I'm excited that I'm going to be able to own it physically on Blu-ray. So I'll probably even buy the 4K. Dude, K-pop Demon Hunters was good. I don't care, man. I got no shame in saying that. I mean, I love K-pop anyways, but K-pop Demon Hunters was fantastic. And the fact that it was supposed to be a 3-hour long movie and Netflix made them cut it down makes me so sad. Because they said they had like 30 songs for that movie written. And Netflix only wanted it to be so long. So I took the kiddo to see the sing-along 3 times. And then I actually went on a date to the sing-along. So yeah, I saw it 4 times in theaters. No regrets. No regrets. And that was one of those theater experiences that I think was amazing because you had everybody in the audience, old and young. They were singing, people were dancing, they were up out of their seats. People had glow sticks and light sticks in the crowd. It was such a fun movie-going experience. And I think we need more things like that. The other thing that we did like that was the Hatsune Miku movie, the Miku Who Can't Sing. We went and we saw that in theaters twice, and that was so cool. Everyone was, there were cosplayers dressed up, there were people dancing to the songs, people were singing, singing along, they had glow sticks, everyone was going. It was a very, very cool thing. And I think movie theaters need to do more. There needs to be more event style stuff like that to keep movie theaters alive. But K-pop Demon Hunters, I definitely recommend it. I love it. Scream 7, I think if you like the Scream movies, if you like the original Scream movies, you'll like Scream 7. I think it was a return to form. And again, for what they had to work with on the quick time they had to turn it around, I definitely recommend it. I think it was really good. Definitely was a change of pace from 6. But now it has me and the kiddo wondering how we can connect 6 and 7 stories together, and we've got some pretty good ideas, but hopefully they can make nice with Melissa Barrera and Jenna Ortega and maybe bring them back into the world to kind of interact with Sydney and her daughter in the next iteration, or Sydney's daughter in the next iteration, I should say, um, you know, and the survivors of the movie. I just think because there's some people you're going. I mean, there's some people you're saying, are they alive? Are they not alive? Because they left you kind of wondering. So I'm kind of drawing again. I'm in my own head canon right now, but there are things I'd like to see. I'd like to see them kind of mix things, but it kind of depends on who's alive and who's not at the end. But they kept you guessing. But in my head canon, I'd love to see it. But very good altogether. And you know, I'm trying to think of where I want to go next. We've actually had some good topics, some good convo. I don't really want to go negative because we've had some good positive stuff today, and I just don't know if I want to go negative, but we can talk a little bit about it. I want to see if I can pull up any articles here. I do want to talk about, oh God, I hate bringing up IGN articles, but I do want to talk about this before I get into any of the negatives, right? I'm a huge God of War fan. Okay. Since the originals, I played the PSP games. I played the Vita games. I love them. Okay. I even liked Ascension, even though it wasn't that great of a game. Okay. I love Kratos. I love Kratos as a character. And as someone who became apparent throughout the course of the God of War games, seeing Kratos' evolution into the 2018 and Ragnarok games, I thought was a bittersweet thing for him. A lot of people didn't like it. A lot of people called him beta. They called him a bitch. They called him all these other things. We got, watered down Kratos, but it fit with Kratos' journey, and I really liked it. He had his life where he was degenerate, right? He had his life of, going out and banging goddess mini games, okay? And he had a second chance at life, right? Because if we all know, spoiler alert, God of War 3, he kind of dies. And we all assumed. Now, if you were around back then, before I get to the article, if you were around back when God of War 3 first came out, there was at the end of the game, spoiler alerts for almost 20-year-old game now. At the end of the game, we think Kratos is gone. And we do see a silhouette, right? With, I believe it was water, right? It was like water flowing. And you couldn't quite tell if it was a male or a female, right? And a lot of us back then all thought it was a female silhouette. And it went in line because the rumors were the next God of War game was going to be Goddess of War, right? And if you guys were around back then for God of War 3, I'm sure you guys heard those rumors back then too. This was definitely early days, right? And it was coming from the success and popularity of Heavenly Sword with Nariko. And I think that we're going to pivot to a female lead. That's what everyone thought. Well, things kind of went a different way, and we ended up with God of War 2018, right? All those years later, where we saw Kratos in a whole new world. Little more older, a little more worn, and apparent. And so it told the whole story of his new life. He's in the Norse mythology now. How he got there, you find out over the course of the games, obviously. And obviously Kratos is gonna Kratos, and he's gonna get into trouble. But we found out that he was remarried. He had a kid, and this time he's taking that fatherly duty that he didn't get to in his previous life. He's very I don't want to say against it at the beginning of the game, but he is not the world's greatest dad at the beginning of the game. And as you go through the two games, you see him kind of develop that fatherly bond with his kid. And as someone who had the kid and had a bond and things like that, and saw those things happen in real life, in person, you can see that journey in Kratos. And it's pretty cool. And I think for those who call it out, I think you got to have that life experience in order to appreciate it, right? Exactly. And that's what I said. I don't think anything about new Kratos makes him beta at all. And that's what I'm saying. I think it's people who have not had that experience, right? They haven't had a parental experience. Those are the people calling him beta. He was being a dad. He was learning how to be a dad. And I could take that in my own experience. I had to learn how to be a dad, right? And obviously mine was to a daughter, not to a son, but I could see that in the game, and you could see the struggle that he goes through and everything else, especially being by himself. So that's going to lead me, leading into this right here, which I'm going to go to IGN's pop-up ridden site of garbage, but God of War developer Sony Santa Monica reportedly, this isn't confirmed yet, reportedly making an action-focused spin-off focused on Faye in the God of War franchise. So now, if you guys know, Faye was Kratos' wife, right? In the Norse mythology, right? And this came from a leaker, right? Nate the Hate. So it's going to focus on Faye, and the internet is losing their minds over this, right? So we're saying, yes, the game is set within the God of War universe, and the lead character will be Faye. Current plan to reveal this year or the first half of 27. So Faye is obviously going to be a controversial pick, right? People are pissed off about it. People are going nuts about it, right? Just another group of gamers showing around buzzwords and zero experience. Yes, exactly. I think this isn't very bad, right? So 2018 God of War, Faye's dead, right? That's true. So her last wish is for ashes to be scattered from the Nine Realms peak, right? She was a Jotun, frost giant, and then you feature, it featured Faye more extensively in Ragnarok. So yeah, if you played the games, you kind of already know that, right? But I think personally, this is saying apparently it's going to be a prequel to God of War 2018. Likely with little appearance from Kratos himself. But maybe, just my opinion here, maybe we're going to lead up to her meeting Kratos and get more of the backstory of how Kratos appeared in this world, right? So those are, kind of a couple of things there that we could dive into. And I, for one, am excited because from what we know about Faye in the God of War modern, we'll say the Norse era God of War, is that exactly, we could see how they met. So Kratos doesn't have to be not in the game. Kratos can be in the game. Maybe it leads into them meeting, or maybe it ends with them meeting. But I think because we don't know all the details of how he met Faye, what happened when he first got into that world. So I think expanding the lore is fine. I don't think it should be called God of War, whatever number it's going to be, right? I think it should have God of War in the title, but it should be God of War, whatever, not Ragnarok. Maybe it could be, beginnings or something, right? I don't know. But from what we know, and I could be wrong, it's been now a couple of years since I played them, but Faye is actually kind of a badass. She went toe to toe with Thor and survived. So, and his brother. She whooped his ass. So, because she's a Jotun, she's a frost giant, she's pretty freaking strong. So, I mean, I'm not against it. I think a lot of people are up in arms over it, but guess what? We're not going to be without Kratos. If you guys remember, we're also getting a God of War remake trilogy. So we're going to get our Kratos fix. So I'm sure they got one part working on the Kratos stuff, the remakes, right? To bring everybody else up to speed with the OG. And then we're going to have something over here, and we're going to have something to expand the lore for the other God of War, right? The Jotunheim or the Norse era games. I'm not opposed to it. And yes, I agree. If the Dwarf Brothers are in it, I'm sold. Those guys were freaking hilarious. So, I mean, I can't really hate on it. I've been commenting on people's things on Twitter, and I'm like, they were talking about, let's see if I can pull up. I'm not going to pull up my Twitter because Twitter is very much a cesspool. But let me see if I can find one here. Someone said something about it, and right here, we're sick of every franchise being replaced with a strong female lead. It's tiring, it's not interesting, and it's ruining gaming. And my reply to it was, I said, honestly, as a God of War fan, I'm okay with this. I loved her character, and give her a spin-off game. We're getting the remastered trilogy anyways. So, again, we got people posting things like God of War's wife. And I made the same comment that I said earlier, right here was, if you recall, God of War 3, it was teased that we're going to get a Goddess of War. And we never did. So, I mean, I'm okay with it. I'm okay with playing as Faye. If I get to be Faye, fighting Thor, going over, maybe even taking Frost Giant form since she was a Jotun, maybe we'll see her kind of go Frost Giant, just like how we saw Atreus, aka Loki, go into bear form, So I think there's some cool gameplay mechanics that we could have. There's some good story and lore that we could have. And honestly, she ain't a bad character to look at. So it's not like they're making her a mannish, unattractive, ugly, square-jawed thing. Well, I mean, give them time, they could. But I don't see where the issue is as long as it's not going to be the mainline God of War game, right? We saw it with Spider-Man already. We had Spider-Man. I loved the first Spider-Man game. We got Spider-Man Miles Morales. It was a spin-off. It was going to be a DLC. I liked the game. I think Miles is one of the most overly hyped and overly, just overly done characters in Marvel. But I think his game was great. It was Spider-Man 2 where they shit the bed and they ruined it. So, I think expanding the lore could be a good thing. We got a bunch of spin-offs in the original God of War games. We got the Vita game. We got the PSP games. We got a bunch of them. And then we got Ascension, which was like a prequel. And now we got another prequel game, which is the side-scroller game. So, what is wrong with expanding on the lore? I don't get it. And I know it's the internet going, female character, this is bad. Normally I'm in that crowd more than I like to admit. But my thing is I'll look at what I like to call the uglified female characters. The ones that they purposely make just unappealing in every way, like the modern strong female. The side shave hair or the bald head and the square jaw that they give them. Like, there is a outline you look at and go, Oh God, I see the side cut. Like I know this is gonna be a cringy woman character. Like she's gonna be the best at everything. But we already know that Faye, just in the story of God of War, is not that. So I don't know. I'm willing to give the benefit of the doubt. Santa Monica Studio has not disappointed me yet. So we will see. I mean, I've been wrong before. I'm looking at Naughty Dog. Um but we will see. Like I'm not going to go and go up in arms over the rumors yet until it's confirmed, until we see something. But if it's Faye, she looks like the Faye from the 2018 in Ragnarok, and maybe we can do some of these scenes. Like I said, maybe we can see her find Kratos. You know, whether it's her saving Kratos, I don't know if they're going to do that, but they could go full on, woke and make her be the one who comes and saves Kratos, and rescues him from something. We'll see. But if they do that, it'll be a little, I don't know. But again, we're not going to know until we start seeing more of it. So I am being optimistic. Yes, exactly. Yes, I think that could be it too. Brock and Sindri, exactly. Kyle said it right. Brock and Sindri have a history with her. It may end up being a game where we play as all three. Meaning Kratos entering will be, the end game or later part of the game. Exactly. I think that would be really cool to see the other interactions before Kratos got there. I mean, I'd be okay even if we had a game where we were played as Thor. That'd be cool too. But all in all, I think the internet is taking female character and running with it. And that is, again, the internet is going to internet. But again, I mean, I'm guilty of it too. I will do it sometimes too. I saw the stuff for intergalactic heretic, cringy, shaved bald head girl thing from Naughty Dog and just went, that game is going to suck ass. It's going to be the girl boss. I'm the best at everything. I'm the ultimate everything. Yeah, but with that, you can tell. Again, you can tell by the look, by the character, what they look like, how they portray them, right? And that is not what Faye was in the games, or probably is. So, like I said, we'll see what happens. But I'm gonna go towards the other side, and I'm gonna say I'm optimistic about it. I think Santa Monica hopefully can give us a good story. I like Faye's character. I like what I've learned about her over the course of the two games. So I don't mind her getting a spinoff. I don't mind learning about the world before Kratos got there. Yeah, I mean, people are just going to be mad to be mad. But there's the other side of that. There's the people who overly praise everything. So there's both sides to it. Right? There's people who overly shill for things, and there's people who are just overly angry at everything. Right? I like to say I'm kind of in the middle, but people will tell me I'm more towards the, shit on everything camp. But I like to say I'm more towards the middle. I'll look at stuff and go, this looks horrible, and then I'll look at some stuff and go, this looks good. But speaking of things that I thought looked horrible, let's quickly talk about it. Marathon. Something I thought looked completely horrible. And I can actually say, even though I don't have PlayStation Plus, I managed to play about an hour of Marathon during the server stress over the weekend at a friend's house. She was trying it, and you know, um, I just, I think it's gonna flop. I do. Apparently it had a popular server test, but to me, and I don't know if it's the aesthetic of the game. I think the game just I hate the art style. Um the gunplay and everything else seemed pretty standard for a Bungie game. And that's something Bungie does do great. I didn't like the Destiny games, but God, damn it, they had great gunplay and stuff. So, Marathon, from, like I said, I only played it for about an hour, 45 minutes or so. It's ugly as sin. I do not like the art style, and I cannot get past it. It just it's not going to be for me, obviously. So, very very short take on it. I don't know if anyone else tried it over the weekend, but I got to try it for a little while, and I was just like, movement's pretty good, gunplay's pretty good, but yeah, the color schemes and just the way everything looks, it looked like someone just threw up a rainbow on my screen. I don't know. I couldn't do it. So, it's going to be a hard pass for me, easy pass for me. So, just from playing it for the brief time I did, definitely not my cup of tea. Not it. I mean, this is just, I don't know who decided on this color scheme, but it is god awful. Um, Marathon was an obscure IP back in the day, not a blockbuster. Seems like they're depending heavily on the IP to rope Bungie faithful in. Not this one. It looks revolting. Exactly. I fully agree with you. I think they're just thinking that Bungie's name is going to carry it, but Bungie hasn't really been doing anything that groundbreaking since Sony bought them. My personal opinion, what I would have done with Bungie, I would have given them Killzone, or I would have given them Resistance. And I would have said, here you go, guys. Resurrect these IPs for us. Maybe not as much Resistance, because Resistance had a lot of the Ratchet and Clank style guns, which I loved, where they all had alt fires. But I think Killzone would have been great for Bungie's wheelhouse, since Guerrilla's doing Horizon now. I think it would have said, here you go, Bungie. Remember back in the day when Bungie, you were making Halo, and Guerrilla over here decided to make Killzone to compete with you? Well, look at how we're going to go full circle. You're going to be in charge of Killzone now. I think it would have worked. I think they would have added something new to Killzone. We could have gotten a new Killzone. And, Destiny could have just went on its merry way, because I don't know. I know like 4 people who play Destiny still, but they play it like religiously. But it's more like I have to log in every day thing, But that's just what I think. I think that Sony has so many great IPs, and Bungie, in name, has a great pedigree. They're not the same as they used to be, but I think it would have been a smart move. Yes, exactly. Destiny and Destiny 2 were very poorly mismanaged. And I think Sony could have literally been like, hey, let's dust off one of these IPs. Same thing with Bluepoint. We talked about that last week with Bluepoint games. They could have, instead of having them work on a live service game, they could have been like, hey, we have the Killzone collection you could work on, remaster. Hey, we have the Resistance collection you could remaster. We have Infamous collection you guys could remaster. But, between Sony's bad decisions, or PlayStation's bad decisions, and Bungie's bad decisions, like, we took two bad decisions and we pushed them together and we got Marathon. And maybe it'll do all right, but with something like Arc Raiders and something like Helldivers out there, I just don't see anybody coming into this and sticking to it. And I think, do you have to pay for that? Haze. Oh my God. That's a really deep dive right there. So yeah, Marathon's not through. Yeah, I said Resistance. Yeah, I said Resistance or Killzone or yeah. But like I said, with Resistance, I don't know if Bungie would have been the choice for that, just because of the way the guns are in that game. That's why I said earlier. That's why I said with the way they have that Ratchet and Clank style alt fires and stuff, the wacky kind of guns. I don't know if Bungie would be the pick for that. That's why I said maybe Killzone. And it would just, like I said, it would be funny for them to be the guys who were competing with Killzone, and now they're going to be working on Killzone. It kind of would have been a funny thing, but yeah, you know, at the end of the day, Marathon tried it. Not a fan of it. It's going to be another. Hate to say it, but it's going to be another live service online L for Sony. And between what we talked about last week with the Horizon Hunters Gathering coming out, Concord, I mean, Destiny kind of just circling the drain. I mean, I think Sony really needs to reevaluate things and go back to what it does or used to do so well, which was phenomenal story-driven games. And until they can just get their head out of their own asses and go back to that, I don't know, I think they're going to be in trouble. But then again, who are they competing with? So, I mean, I don't know. It's tough. It is it's a tough time to be in the game sphere and see how the stupid choices these companies are making. So, I mean, PlayStation Home. Dude, I actually, speaking of PlayStation Home and speaking of Twitter, I actually saw someone post on Twitter about PlayStation Home. And that was something that I think I used to live in that thing. I loved PlayStation Home. I think they should bring that back. I think it would be something very, very cool. Again, Sony did the metaverse before anybody else. And it was just a beta. And it was so much fun. So I think it's something they should bring back. Again, with the VR, you have PlayStation VR now. I mean, you could VR chat, dude. Man, that would be so cool. I think that would be great. But you know, I like I said, they have so many things. They have so much stuff they could do, and they just aren't doing it. And you know, between last week talking about Blue Point, this week we got Marathon, and I mean, I'm seeing people gobble up the slop. I'm gobbling up that game's knob, saying how amazing it is. Probably because they're trying to get free copies, right? Again, not my cup of tea. I'm gonna hard pass on it. It's not that good. But yes, yep. Xbox was the same thing. Xbox kind of didn't do it either. You know, like I said, there's a lot of things like that just don't make sense. But again, we're just the gamers. We're not the corporate people. You know, we don't know what gamers want. We're just gamers. You know. But I think that's really all like the main things I wanted to talk about. You know, we even kind of went a little bit off tangent with a couple other things here. And yeah, I think, you know, at the end of the day there were some pretty positives, I think, you know, about the gaming news, but I think we need more. We need more positive stuff. But like I said, I am, you know, at the end of the day, we only keep the lights on for them. Yeah, exactly. Um, you know, I just, long story short, I think to piggyback off of what we talked about last week and add it to this week, just between all the nonsense that we went over last week between Xbox's shuffles and shakeups and Sony getting rid of Blue Point, and now, you know, we've got Marathon coming out this week, or the stress test came out this weekend and just wasn't impressive, and just all the stuff they could be doing and that they should be doing but aren't doing. You know, I just don't know. I think if the gaming industry doesn't start listening more to its players, we're going to see a lot more closures and studios going under and people losing jobs, and not from any fault of their own. It's going to be the fault of, just like with a lot of companies, the people up top. Those are the people you got to blame. And I see people attacking developers and people who worked on games all the time online. It's like, don't blame those people. They're just there doing a job. That'd be like someone coming into my job and blaming me for everything they don't like about the company I work for. I just work here. I come in, I do what I'm assigned, I get my paycheck, I go home. So, all these people, like, you gotta look at the people calling the shots, and you gotta hold all them to that standard, because it's not the grunts that are doing all the work that are the problem. It's the people making the choices that are the problem. We might crap on, again, the designs for Marathon and the color schemes for Marathon. We might crap all over that, and people are going to attack the designers and things like that, the people that are coding it. Somebody up top made those decisions to go with all that. So again, you can't blame the people working on the game. You can definitely blame the studio heads and the people that are in charge and that make the decisions. But you can't blame the grunts that are just doing the work that they're paid to do at the end of the day. And that's the way I look at it. And until we get people in the studios as heads that are gamers, you're not going to fix the problem. Their eyes are looking at dollar signs, way to cut things, way to make more bottom line, ways to make things look good to the shareholders, and that's all they're looking at. So until we can fix that problem, it's going to keep going. And the sad reality is, I don't see Blue Point Games closure being our last one this year. I feel like this year is going to be a year of kind of some lows in gaming. We'll probably have some highs. GTA 6 is supposed to come out. It's going to be the biggest game ever. But I think this year might have some lows for us, and it's going to bring a lot more people to retro games and older games and older consoles. So we'll see what's going to happen, but that's really all the stuff I wanted to touch base on today. I don't think I forgot anything else. Let's see. We talked about Scream. We talked about a little bit about Marathon. We talked about Miku. Oh yes, you know what? Really quick, Nintendo did announce a new Pokemon game. I forgot because I'm not really a Pokemon fan. So they did a couple of interesting things, right? We saw that they brought back what is it? Red, and what were the new Pokemon games? It was Fire Red and Leaf Green came out, right? Last week. So we got Nintendo went and did a Nintendo thing, and people gobbled it up. Instead of releasing Fire Red and Leaf Green on their Nintendo Online service, they decided to put them on the eShop for $20 a pop. And then we got the new games announced too, which were Winds and Waves. So, we're going to get some new starter Pokemon. We're going to get some new stuff. And to me, I was trying to pull up something, but God, these sites are so horrible with pop-ups. I don't think they look that great. It's just, it looks like the last two Pokemon games that we've got. It looks like Scarlet and Violet. I just don't think it looks that cool, but we did get our look at the new starters So we got Brout, Pombon. Let's see, I'll bring them up real quick. I'm going to talk very little about Pokemon because I'm not a big Pokemon fan. But these are our three new starters. So we got, looks like a owl or something. I don't know, maybe he's a bird. We got a Pomeranian and we got a gecko. So, maybe he's an owl. I don't know. This one is, I don't know what he is. He looks like he might be a owl or a bird. I don't know. But I'm not super excited about this. Let's see if we can see another picture of them. Um, we got this one right here. We got some other pictures of them right here. God. Pokemon Wind and Waves. So again, these characters look exactly the same as they've looked in the last two games, but these are our three new Pokemon, obviously. And we got some special Pikachus, it's some kind of tropical looks. I mean, but the game itself, it just looks like every other one. So let's see if I can go through this muted real quick. I'm just going to cut through a couple of this to see if they got any of the gameplay stuff. So there's the new Pikachus, right? Cute. It's Game Freak. But this looks like the last several Pokemon games. I was going to say Pikachu games, but this looks just like Pokemon Legends Arceus, Pokemon Legends A to Z. This looks just like it. Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. This looks exactly the same. Again, just like you just said, cookie cuttering it. We're going to just make the same game over and over. We're going to just go through. This doesn't look anything groundbreaking, right? We got, new cutesy wootsy Pokemon. Cool. This one looks stupid. That one looks cute. I'm going to say the Pomeranian looks kind of cute. And there's Gecko, just looks like every other Pokemon. So, I mean, it just doesn't look that appealing. It again, after we saw that game last week, that Game Freak was working on for like the PlayStation, the was it a Beast of Reincarnation or whatever? That looked sick. So again, seeing what Game Freak can do when they're not in the constraints of Pokemon Company and Nintendo, it looks a lot more impressive. So I don't know. I just wanted to touch that really quick because I know I did put that in the title. So, all in all, again, I'm not a huge Pokemon guy. I think Pokemon is way overdone. It's for grown men who don't shower, that sit stalking targets to scalp cards. That's basically all Pokemon has become now. Sadly, the kids who are into it can't get the cards. So, mine was a big Pokemon fan too, and she got out of it. Literally, she'll see a guy in the Pokemon aisle in a hoodie and shorts or something and be like, I bet that guy smells, and I bet he's trying to buy all the Pokemon cards off the shelf. It's like, yep. So, I don't know. It's like I said last week with Nintendo and just Nintendo fans and just how they are. They're gonna gobble it up. It's gonna be a best-selling game. It's gonna be huge. It's gonna sell tons. But again, Pokemon has become if you played one, you've played them all. It is the same game every single time. Although I did like Legends Arceus or Arceus, I don't know, however you pronounce it. I did like that one. I thought it was something a little different. I thought it was a little fresh, and then we went right back to the same old, same old. So, my thing, I always say, play Digimon games. They're way better. And they actually have stories. They actually have characters. They actually have character development. Just my thoughts. Just my opinion. Take it how you will. But if you haven't checked it out, definitely check out Digimon Story Time Stranger. So good. So good. But that's it. We've went through all the topics today and even had some extra topics to talk about. So that's gonna be it for today. I think that should be it. I think, we covered everything. So it's gonna be a nice job. Hey, you know what? Hey, I almost made it on time, and we almost went to our time limit. So hey, I'm gonna give myself credit for that. So yeah, so before I end things, we'll go ahead and we're going to go over all the figures that I covered, obviously, this week for Miku Week. So again, we had the incredible Ghost Miku, which was my favorite one for the week, of course. We had the amazing Amp Mermaid Miku, who, again, can't go wrong if you liked her either. Absolutely gorgeous piece. We had my scale figure Miku, of course, which was the 2017 Good Smell Racing Miku with those amazing translucent butterfly wings. We had the very obscure white dress wedding Miku, of course, from Sega, part of the SPM line. And then, of course, we ended the week with the Shine Miku, aka the Paint Miku, aka the P Miku, aka Piku. So, definitely had some good stuff that we covered this week. And that's pretty much it. So, I'm going to close things out today. Say thank you to everyone who came in and chatted. Thanks to everyone who came in and lurked. There's been quite a few of you guys lurking today, so I appreciate it. Thanks to all you guys have been watching on the VODs and kind of giving me a little bit of, pointers and kind of suggestions. I'm going to start working on some more things during the stream here that I can kind of elevate the stream a little bit more. But I'm going to take some suggestions. I appreciate it. If you guys do have any suggestions or thoughts, what I can do to improve things, what you guys would like to see more, let me know, and we're gonna work on it. Like I said, this is only episode 5, so we've got a long way to go. I'm having a blast doing it. So that's gonna be it though for this one, guys. I appreciate everyone coming in, and I will see everybody tomorrow. That will be around. I'm gonna be streaming gameplay, some games. Not sure. It's probably gonna be Zenless Zone Zero. Again, tomorrow I do have an unboxing going live, which is going to be the Ichiban Kuji, Denji, and Beam massive Chainsaw Man Reze statue. Friday will be Prize Figure Face Off going live. That's going to be, as you saw earlier in the stream, these two right here that I have the empty boxes for, which is going to be the Punk Miku versus the Fluffy Cat Miku. So those are going to go head to head with each other on Friday. If I can get the video redubbed, because I have to dub over it. And then, yeah, that's going to be it. Just gaming streams for the rest of the week until next Monday, and then we'll do it all over again. So thank you guys again for watching and chatting with me today. If you did like this, obviously do me a solid. Click the like button, the subscribe button, the share button. Spread the nerdiness. Of course, as always, follow on all the socials. The links are down in the description below. And yeah, guys, I will see you all